bringing to you another Lasner Sport Exclusive.
Welcome, Lasner Sport fans, to the Lasner Sport University of Football Graduate Program Fantasy Football Training, also known as FFT 6400. Do you have what it takes to be a masturbator? Take the course and find out. And today we're going to be discussing the strategies, thoughts, theories, and players that go into fantasy football trading. Make the trade. First, I want to talk about the players. First person we're going to mention is the homer. Now, this person covets the players from the home team more than any other player. This is easy to use to your advantage. Target this player. There's a reason why I traded for Reggie Bush for 3 years in a row. Next, we're going to talk about the con man. Now, the con man is trying to steal your lunch and eat it right in front of your face. He's trying to trade you, his player that's injured for the remainder of the year, for your stud player. Avoid the con man. Always do your research before you trade. Next, we have the overexcited trader. Now, the overexcited trader is just happy to be playing fantasy football and wants to trade solely for the purpose of trading. Use this to your advantage. Take advantage of this player all season long. Next, we're going to talk about the master drafter, which is not to be confused with the master baiter, which we're going to talk about in just a second. The master drafter is the player that covets every player that he drafted more than any other player. Don't trade with this guy. He's delusional. He doesn't know fantasy from reality. He doesn't know right from wrong. He's not going to give the deal that you're looking for. Stay away from this guy. Next, we're talking about the app user. Now, the app user is strictly using numbers and fantasy football apps and sites to make his trades. This guy is not a forward-looking player. He's a pass-looking player. It's easy to take advantage. Next, we're going to talk about the master baiter, which you will become after this course. The master baiter is a person that effectively uses these strategies, theories, and thoughts to turn players into fantasy football championships. Now we're going to talk about some theories. Supply and demand is going to tell us that there's more supply of quality receivers to meet demand than there is demand for running backs to meet the supply. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. Does not make sense. Think about it. Always target studs. Consistency is king. You want the guy that's going to give you 13 points every single week rather than the guy that's going to average 14 points, score 25 one week and 3 the next. Consistency wins you games. Consistency wins championship. Sell high, buy low. Don't be too caught up in a week-to-week basis. Think objectively and use this to your advantage to sell when players are hot and buy when it's low. Always target high-powered offenses. High-powered offenses are going to give players more scoring opportunities on a week-to-week basis. Why would I want the number 1 wide receiver from the Jacksonville Jaguars if I can get the number 2 or number 3 wide receiver from the Green Bay Packers? Huge difference. You got to know these things. Not for the fantasy football novice. Now, you're saying, DK, I like your thoughts, I like your theories. What are some strategies that I might be able to use to pilfer the other owners in my league and get the players that I want? Let me tell you something. One strategy that I find particularly effective is the infirmary purge. In this case, I'm going to take a star player that might have just suffered a mild injury, concussion, for example. Now, the owner that owns this player, his value is going to be at an all-time low at this moment. This is where you jump on it, you capitalize, you get the injured player for 50 cents on the dollar, and you continue for the rest of your year, you win the championship. Now, this is only a strategy to use if you can wait a week or two for the player to come to health. If you need a week-to-week win, this is not a strategy to use. This is for the forward-thinking fantasy football player. There's also what I like to call the letdown week special. Say Sunday night comes, this owner needs 10 points from a player and only gets 9. His hopes, his value of that player is now at an all-time low because he has crushed his fantasy weekend single-handedly. now's the time to strike for this player. Now is the time. We also have what I like to call the bye week steal. If there's an owner desperate for a win, he will be willing to trade his stud that is on a bye week to get that 1 week win. Now this is where you, as a forward-thinking fantasy owner, will make the trade, suffer through the bye week, maybe play a waiver wire pickup, and continue on with your season, winning a championship with a stud consistency. Win the championship, make the trade. Now, we also like to talk about the 2-for-1. In the 2-for-1, you're offering 2 marginal players in order to get a stud player in return. Now, you may say, well, why would I give up 2 players for 1? Studs are more consistent. Remember, aim for the studs. Consistency is king. Why have 2 players that you may or may not play on a weekly basis when you can get 1 stud player that you were guaranteed to play on a weekly basis and is going to be more consistent than the other 2 players? 2-for-1s work, but you always want to get the stud player in return. Use his counter offer against him. You wait for the counter offer, you see the players that the owner actually covets, and then you make the deal for the player that you want. That's how you get the players that you want and the fantasy football glory that you seek. Now, if you effectively combine all these strategies, thoughts, and theories, you will become a master baiter and therefore a master trader. Thank you.